Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing and diagnosing the problems with this Jetbug revamp I made. This is for a 2.0 reimagined series that I've kind of rumored. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it completely. I asked if there'd be any interest, and I think there was some. This is what Evo looks like. He's the only hero that I've made, and as you can see, Jetbug is much, much bigger than him. And this, if I did do this 2.0 reimagined series, this would not be the final Jetbug, and I'll tell you why. This will be a review, and this will be a breakdown of the MOC and why it doesn't work. So, as you've already noticed, he's quite big, which doesn't fit the Jetbug character. I went a little bit crazy with this one, and one major problem, is he's pretty fragile. Not his underlying structure, but the details on top of all of the Technic frames that I've made for him. His arms are pretty loose because I could only connect them by one connection point. I do like a lot of the details though. I really like this Huki mask being used for his shoulder armor. Unfortunately, I don't have another, so this one is bare over here. It just doesn't look very good since it doesn't have the helmet, but we're just not going to talk about that, because since this isn't the final MOC, I'm not going to buy another Huki mask. But I might use this somewhere on the smaller Jetbug that I make, maybe on his back or something. The gun looks pretty good. I'll take that out of his hand if I even remember how. This MOC I built probably 2 months ago. And then the sword, I'll take this out. The weapons were kind of an afterthought, kind of like they were on the actual set, so I'll just briefly go over those later. So I used a 3-jointed leg design. Probably shouldn't have. That's one of his problems. I mean, the legs move fine. Oh, well, that's a problem. Like I said, some of the detailing work comes off. So it can move a little bit this way, and then this is kind of a copy design. I saw it on General Grievous, the buildable figure, and I thought I might try something like that. But long story short, this is a terrible design because you can get almost no leg posing. You can't ever get both of the feet flat except if they're at the same angle. So never try this unless you know a secret that I don't, because I just did something wrong to where they have to be at the same angle pretty much, and you can barely separate them. Otherwise, the other foot is going to be slightly off the ground, something like this. But he's too heavy. He's going to fall if I try to do that. Another detail just fell off, like I said. I went too extravagant with this MOC. That's one of the problems. I wanted these MOCs to be pretty poseable, and they are revamps. They're not meant to be played with. They're more display models, so that's one thing, but I don't want all the details to be falling off constantly. The arm design is pretty good. It's not actually too heavy. If I had another, maybe just a DC stabilizer, or that's what I call them, they're friction adding pieces, but if you don't know, they don't work with these Bionicle connections, with these specifically. They work with the other ones, but these with the rounded ends, it will actually break these pieces, those friction-adding gray pieces, like the ones that I used on this Evo guy, those right there. They will actually break these Bionicle connector pieces because they have rounded ends. And I wish they were compatible because I would have used them there. I could probably just change out the joint and add one of those stabilizing pieces, but I don't think it would actually help much in the case of this MOC because his arms are pretty heavy. I like the hand design. It's pretty good. It's very simple. Just a hand design I came up with a long time ago. The head is really one of the highlights to me. You have a closable mouth that looks pretty good, and just a little bit of detailing around it. I'll take that off and show it to you closer up later on. The back looks alright. I love the jet design. I might just steal that and put it on the smaller Jetbug. The body looks really good to me. I like how it looks. It's just too big, and some of the details kind of are loose, so That's a problem. This mock just doesn't work because he doesn't really look like Jetbug. He kind of does. He very slightly does because he has the same color scheme and head and roughly the same weapons, but he's too big. Jetbug was a small set, and this is a very big mock, and that's one of the main reasons he doesn't work. I think all of the detailing on this mock is cool. A lot of it falls off. This armor plate is just on the ground. It's hard to get it to stay there. Whenever you make a big mock, you have to put more details because you have more space to fill up. And so you have to really be careful, because if you make an underlying structure that you just can't detail completely, then the details will either not be there or they'll be too loose. Three-jointed legs are hard to armor up and make them look good and still be movable. This leg can barely be moved, and it looks pretty good when it's all detailed up, but when you start moving things around, like, it's just going to fall off eventually. And other mock makers are much better at this than I am. I don't know if they make their mocks to be moved or what. I try to make mine to where they could be slightly played with. Obviously, they're leaning more, especially this one is leaning more towards a display mock, but I kind of like the in-between. But this mock just doesn't really work. I'm not sure if this 2.0 Reimagined series is supported. If enough people support it, then I'll probably do it. But the problem is it costs a lot more than you think to do a Reimagined series. 4.0 Reimagined costs like $1,000 roughly. And so 2.0 Reimagined would cost probably around $500 because you have less mocks and I have more pieces now, so it would probably cost about $500. So if I was to do it, I would probably have to do some type of fundraiser, maybe start a Patreon, I'm not sure. But now I'll show you the weapons. Here's his flamethrower. I think it looks really cool. The connection point is kind of weird because of how his hands work, but this is how a standard Hero Factory guy would hold it. I think it looks really good with all the dark gray, all the gunmetal gray, as Jang Bricks would say. And this looks pretty good too, the little fire emitter, and this would shoot out the gas. He's got a big tank right here. I just think it looks really cool. And then he had a spike in his other hand, so I just went very basic and made this, which it looks fine. But this mock desperately needs a makeover, and in that makeover he'd probably lose about 500 pieces, because this is just such a big mock. I'm going to break it after this video, actually. I might do a destruction video. Yeah, I'll wait. If anyone would like to see him destroyed, then, or like to see him taken apart on video, on camera, then please comment, because he only has a few days left. If I don't get a comment wanting him to be built, then he'll probably be destroyed within the next week. So that's really all I had to say in this video. If there's a lot of interest in 2.0 Reimagined, I probably will start a Patreon, because I don't want to spend a ton of money again. I'll spend maybe $100 of my own for a 2.0 Reimagined, and then whatever I would make on Patreon, if this is supported. So if you like this idea, then comment down below of a 2.0 Reimagined. I probably will make another Jetbug just to prove that I actually can. And so stay tuned for my other videos. Please like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos.